4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right below the Cleveland Mall.
This is Evangelist Kim Earwood with Jesus Until the Whole World Hears Radio Ministry. Join us each Sunday morning from 8 to 8:30 a.m. for worship and the Word of God on 1390 and 1590 a.m., 101.5 FM, and ktcbroadcasting.com, and live on Facebook. Also, be sure and stay tuned from 8:30 to 9 o'clock on 1390 a.m., 101.5 FM, ktcbroadcasting.com, and live on Facebook for half hour of praise and worship with Jesus until the whole world hears.
Tee it up and let it fly at the Crowders Mountain Golf Course, voted Gaston County's best course. Ride and play Monday through Friday for just $28. Play and ride after 12 for $25. On weekends and holidays, play and ride for $38 and afternoon for only $28. Seniors 55 and older play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. And Monday is Ladies' Day. Ladies play and ride on Mondays for $18. The Crowders Mountain Golf Course, located on 255 Lincoln Academy Road in Gastonia.
Unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor over it in vain. This is from Psalms 127, and this verse is what Key Builders in Lincolnton is built on. Key Builders in Lincolnton is large enough to do what the big boys do, but small enough to be personal. Bring your own plans or visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and view theirs. They have homes for everyone, so call your local hometown builder. Key Builders, 704-735-0040, or visit their office at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Chosen breed, you don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do, when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets, come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Good morning, Saturday. Ooh, we got a bad, turn that mic off right there, I'm guessing it's Carson's, I switched that out yesterday, it might even be Terry's, we got a bad mic connection somewhere on that. I was playing with some mics. I guess JP could have done my mic check for that. Check it out. Nope, it's Terry. Terry, take yours, turn yours off. Switch right there, Terry. Yeah, it's definitely Terry's. Gosh, we got rid of him. Terry, try that one beside you. And pull that mic up and see if that works. Sorry, folks, about that one. It's Terry's mic. It was a good look. Listen, Carson's not here, and Hunter, I got Terry's mic not working, so we're in a good spot starting off.
Yeah.
After Tar Heels lost last night, you said you didn't want to talk about it. And that's what we're here
we
for.
can talk about it.
We're going to get to some of that. Duke wins again on a dominating performance, right, Terry? Well, he can't say nothing yet. We got Major League Baseball to talk about. We've got NFL to talk about. We've got NBA. We got West End Sales Day. I don't know if Hunter knows about this, but they have a big day up at West End Sales. Calvin and Ron's headed up there now. Calvin's there. And see, Terry, does that one work? See, no. Well, I'm gonna turn that on. And well, if you'll give me a second, I'll do that. Hunter.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let's go over some. Well, let's just get started where I know that you can. Want to ramble because we're going to get in the NCAA in a minute, and I'm going to hook Terry up, Terry's microphone.
So what you want me to do is you want me to fill time
for about 2 minutes. We're going to talk. We're going to start in Charlotte Hornets basketball land. Okay. Because we're going to talk NCAA in a little bit. Because everybody I know wants to talk about it, so we're going to put them on the edge of their seats.
That's fine.
So let's talk Hornets basketball. It's the 10th in the East.
Yeah.
They still got a chance to make the playoffs. Slim and none. There's only 3 teams still out of the playoffs alive, and Hornets are one of them. They lost again last night.
They lost to the Lakers.
So what's well, they actually have a better record than the Lakers. Even they might be tied last night. I haven't looked at it this morning. But Hunter, should they even try to be making the playoff? Okay, there you go. That's what I was going to get. And what should they be doing in this lottery?
What they should be doing really as an organization right now is figuring out what they're going to do today for the future. And what I mean by that is they've already missed out on any chance of moving Kemba Walker this year for any kind of for draft picks or young players to try and build up a new core. And I know what a lot of Charlotte Hornet fans are going to say. Why would we trade Kemba Walker? He's our leading scorer in franchise history. He's the best player on our team. Well, you don't win championships. We've discussed that multiple times in here with that kind of point guard. At least with him having no complementary pieces around him. You don't win championships that way with no complementary pieces around a point guard like that with Kemba Walker. And the Charlotte Hornets find themselves in a predicament every year where they're just good enough.
Terry.
Okay,
Is that
there
okay?
you go. Yeah, I hear him.
No big buzz?
No buzz.
Okay,
No buzz.
so Terry, I got you live and in charge now. Give me a second. All right, you ready, Terry? Go ahead, Hunter.
No, okay. Let me regain my thought because Terry's over here trying to speak into nothing. Where was I? Yeah, we did get him to shut up for a little while. That's pretty good.
Now, never bite.
Okay,
I'm here.
I know where I
I'm
was.
here, Hunter.
I know where I was. Don't let me lose my spot. I'm glad you're here, Terry. Absolutely, I'm glad you're here. I know where I was. Oh yeah, the Charlotte Hornets. They're just good enough to make the playoffs, but to get out of a chance of like a top 15 pick. You know what I'm saying? They're just good enough, but they'll never win a championship. So what they need to be is just bad enough to get maybe a top 10 pick. You know, maybe even top 5 pick and try and rebuild. Because here's the thing. There's a large chance that you're losing Kemba Walker this offseason. There's a large chance. I'm not going to say that it's a 100% chance, but there's a large chance
I thought we had inside information that he was staying here, Hunter.
I mean, the contract's got to be right, but just because
They're
Charlotte,
offering him
I was about to say,
everything.
just because Charlotte offers him a max contract doesn't mean
So,
a team in championship
Here,
position
I
doesn't
wanna
offer him
ask
one
you
either.
something.
Well, they are too, but Charlotte can offer about 40, 50 more million. What do you think, from what you've heard and feeling, is if Kim is offered, he's still going to get the max in Charlotte at 15. He's going to be basically, do I want 50 million in Charlotte more over the same number of years, or do I want to go somewhere else and possibly play for a title?
Well, it's not really what I've heard. It's really just going to come down to what is in Kemba's heart. Does he want to win a championship, or does he want the money right now at this point? Because there's, of course, 2 teams that really want him, besides Charlotte wanting to keep him. The Knicks want him because he's from New York, and he's going to bring in all the fans that he built up all those years he played in the Big East and with the conference championship game being in New York at the time. And Los Angeles. The Lakers are going to want him to be another complimentary piece where they try and get 2 max deal players to come and play next to LeBron James next year, because they don't know if they could even land Kyrie. So, and Kemba Walker, some people won't agree with it, but numbers, like he can have moments where he's like Kyrie light. He's a high volume shooter and he can score at will and he can be clutch. So LeBron's used to playing with a point guard like that. So I don't know. It just comes down to if Kemba wants to win a championship, if he wants to play in a bigger market like New York and Los Angeles, or if he just wants to stay here in Charlotte, you know, the team that drafted him, and get the most money possible.
I think the
I don't know.
I think what he's going to do, and what his agent will probably tell him to do, maybe, is going to sign in Charlotte, unless he gets an offer from a team that can compete for the championship. Then, you know what I mean? Unless he's part of a big 3.
I agree.
I think he's going to
because then he'll still get money,
right,
and he'll
get
go
more
and win.
money. But I also think what he can do in 2 years is force a trade.
Pull Anthony Davis.
And then the thing you're talking about with the draft picks, that's, I mean, yes, we could always wish for draft picks, but we have 9 lottery picks on the team. On this team is 9 lottery picks, and they just haven't got it right.
Yeah, but isn't there a new man in charge right now with the draft process?
Kupchak's in
I was about
charge
to say,
now. So,
I think it's
hopefully
the time to,
hopefully he can do it right. Go ahead, Terry.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here and I say, do you get rid of him? You have a proven.
Well, they don't have a choice to get rid of him. It's his choice.
Well,
He's
I know
free.
that.
right now it is,
It's,
yes.
It's all his choice.
Because they've waited too long.
Yeah,
if there was even like a glimmer
6
of them
months
getting
ago,
anything
3 months
for
ago.
him, because that's what I was getting at, was like, if you know that there's
They would
even
have
the
to do
slightest
it'd have
chance
to
that
be
you
a
lose
sign
him.
and trade that, say, for
Yeah.
example, Terry, it would have to be the Lakers saying, we're going to send you Brandon Ingram and another player for Kemba, and then you send this Kemba in a sign and trade, and he still gets his money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're talking about
Yeah,
getting. That's how they're talking about getting Durant and Kyrie together in Boston is a sign and trade. So that's what you're looking at with some of these players. Not only can they be a free agent, they can also say, well, I want to play with the Lakers, and the Lakers will be like, well, we'll trade you Brandon Ingram. So you may be looking at something like Brandon Ingram for Kemba Walker soon.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Does Charlotte get better by doing that?
But that's the
They
thing.
don't get better by not doing it and letting him just sign somewhere else, though.
Yeah, you lose him for nothing, or
Yeah.
you lose him for something.
Same thing with Golden State.
And that's the thing.
You're better off probably losing him for nothing.
So you're telling me that Charlotte shouldn't trade Kemba for Brandon Ingram when they could just do nothing?
You're not going to get Brandon Ingram for him. I guarantee that. So you're going to get Lorenzo Ball or somebody else.
Now that might. I don't think Ball's
mean,
coming
you know
to play
what?
with Mike.
Well, I don't think so
I'll tell you
neither.
what, though.
But
no,
I'm just
I
saying.
seriously, Brandon Ingram, out of all of them, might be the one that they end up getting because he's got
To
blood
come back
clot.
to
He's
here,
well, not
yeah.
just because he got from North Carolina, but he's got blood clot issues right now.
State plays in the same position as LeBron.
Yeah.
There's a lot with the Ingram
Him
situation.
and Kyle Kuzma, they both are volume shooters. They want to get their shot. That would be the best thing, the Lakers wise, to move one of those two players because, like you said, they play in the side of LeBron. Kuzma would be a better fit because he could play the 2 guard. But if you are,
I keep saying
But
back,
that's what
though,
I'm- yeah.
even if Charlotte goes and says, okay, we're going to give him the max deal and we're going to keep him here, I keep trying to figure out whether Charlotte's going to get better with him here because he is a proven scorer. He can do
and he's an
anything that they
all-star.
need.
He's an all-star.
Or do we get rid of him and really take a tailspin going the wrong way because you're not going to get nothing for him to offset what he can do. And then if you get a draft, if you don't make the playoffs and you're going to get a draft, what you going to get for that? So you end up with 2 or 3 players that average up for what
Well,
he scores.
here's the thing, and this is
You have
what's
to have
so
3
crazy.
studs in the NBA to win.
That's what it is now. You
and
gotta have
10,
3 studs.
and they're-
You can have
right,
2 to get
well,
there in the East.
I don't know
Yeah.
how much of a tailspin it is, Terry, because if they're in 10th. They got the 10th pick right now. It's every year. It's a lottery pick, and they mess it up. And hopefully, Kupchak.
That's what I was about
He's
to
got
say.
the experience. Can fix
Here's
it.
the thing now. You have somebody new making the decisions in the draft room. You've got a few young prospects right now that show upside. Miles Bridges shows upside. Dwayne Bacon shows a lot of upside at the shooting guard position. You don't know what you're getting in Devontae Graham, but at the same time, you can develop. You can always either draft a point guard, find one in free agency, or develop him because they send him and Dwayne Bacon back and forth between Greensboro for their G League team. And Monk, he can come off the bench. He can come off the bench. So if I was the Hornets, you have to look around and say, well, what teams have done this and it's worked out for them? What I'm about to say is the word tank. And the teams that has tanked and it really worked out for them, think about it. The 76ers tanked for almost 6 to 7 years straight, and now they're, 4th in the East?
Okay, they're
They-
4th
they-
in the East, but they're not going to make the
Well, no.
NBA championship.
But they have a chance to make. They have a chance to make
They
it coming
do.
out of the East. So that's what it is. Anytime you just want to make the playoffs in a good seed where you can possibly get home court advantage, because the Hornets, if they even make it, they won't get home court advantage at all in the playoffs. Okay, and not to mention that, but the 76ers, they might still just be a piece or 2 away from being a championship team. So it's all about building the team, and there's another team that's doing it right now in the West. The Phoenix Suns have been tanking for the past really 4 years. Devin Booker can go out there and score you 30 to 40 whenever he wants. DeAndre Ayton's only been in the league for a year. Okay. Kelly Oubre, who they traded for from Washington after the All-Star break, before he got injured, was averaging 20 points a game. So they're
T.J. Warren.
and they got T.J. Warren. They've got a good young core, and they're gonna have either the number 1 or 2 pick this year, where they can go either Zion if they really want him, or they can go get Ja Morant out of Murray State. Because I think Ja would be a better fit for them because they've got Booker as a scorer, they've got Ayton. I think they need someone to facilitate them. So what would hurt Charlotte? Because if they're gonna keep missing the playoffs, what's really the difference between getting the number 1 or 2 pick or getting really the 10th pick? It could be really a huge gap in skill in the players that you're getting. So that's what I'm saying is if you move Kemba, maybe get a young complementary piece to take his place to go with the young core you already have. Tank for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Is that not the funniest thing, that you have to sit back and say that a team has to tank to lose to get better?
Well, it's just building through the draft, because look, that's what hurts Charlotte is it's not a free agent destination. It's not.
No,
For
it's
some
not.
reason, no one wants to come and play underneath Michael Jordan. No one wants to come to one of the prettier cities on the East Coast that's not large. It's not crazy traffic-wise. You can
But
live on the
when you
outskirts.
talk about L.A., the only reason you're going to L.A., it's not for LeBron. It's on the county. It's L.A.
No, that's exactly, and that's
know
the
what I'm
same thing
saying?
with the Knicks. The Knicks are a dumpster fire, but the only reason Kemba Walker would intrigue about going to the Knicks, same with Kevin Durant or Kyrie, it's because
It's about
New
nightlife.
York. It's the
Yeah.
Knicks.
It's about nightlife. Players want to play in L.A., want to play in New York, want to play in Boston, want to play in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of the thing. A problem, the reality situation is, Terry, of the NBA. You think about, Charlotte for 30 years has only won, I think, 3 playoff series. Never got out of the second round. One of only 4 teams that's never made a conference finals. So they when they were good, they had Alonzo, Larry. That their 1 and 2 picks. Okafor didn't turn into a 1 or 2 pick. Kid Gilchrist is still on the team. So when you think about that, compare Kid Gilchrist to Kevin Durant. So we get Kid Gilchrist.
Mm-hmm.
The other teams get Kevin Durant at a 2 pick. We get Emeka Okafor at 1. Other teams get Dwight Howard and Embiid.
Mm.
So it's you have to have those a top 3 or 4 or 5 pick, because you got to have one of those studs to win the championship.
Yeah,
you don't have to have 3 top 5 picks. But you got to have 1 and then 2 other all stars. And the reality of the situation is, if you're picking from 10 to 20 every year, you're not getting those players unless you draft smart. Some teams
if you draft smart,
but Hornets
and
have
if you
not.
get lucky and find the
Yeah.
gym late in the first round, because everybody knows kids that come out of college for the NBA, sometimes there's only 5. The top 5 are the ones that are really going to go in the league and maybe make some noise in their first year. The rest of them might develop to good starters. They're not necessarily stars.
In
good
3 to
starters.
4 years.
Yeah, in 3 to 4 years. But you know what this is a win now league. Unless you want to pull a Suns, you want to pull a Philadelphia, and just try and build your team through the young draft picks lower. Because Nerlens Noel didn't work out, so they tanked again and went and got somebody else the next year. They ended up tanking, and that's what built their big 2, really, in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They've only struck out on like 2 of those draft picks.
Yeah, and I guess when you sit
and
back
that's
and
Noel
think,
and
Philadelphia has done the right thing.
Yeah.
They're going to get home court. But if you think about Charlotte, just like we say, what are you going to be every year? A 7 or 8 pick every year that you make the playoffs,
and you
for
make
what?
you make the playoffs really to get swept.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You get to play
every
4
year.
extra games every year. I mean, what's it gonna hurt to just not make the playoffs and try and say, because what was it? There was an NFL team that even came out, Miami, the Dolphins. They're in full rebuild mode.
Yeah, they are.
They have admitted it. They're in
They're
rebuild
picking
mode.
a quarterback next year.
That's
year.
it. That's what I'm
But
saying.
and they said they're picking a quarterback next year, but they signed Fitzpatrick for a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So even if they don't want to pick one next year, guess who comes out the year after? Mr.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. If they really want him, they say we're not going to try and win for the next 2 years.
Well, they're going to get mad when Fitzpatrick comes out there and wins 7 games in that terrible AFC.
How could you go
Fitzpatrick-
We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about let's finish up the NBA.
Yeah.
Orlando's a half game out of the East. Charlotte is 2 games now out of the East after the loss last night. They're 2 games out, 7 to go.
At this point, and I'm looking at this, I don't even want Charlotte to go up there and get the 8 seed. I want Dwayne Wade to have one last ride. I want Dwayne Wade to have one last ride. Get it out, Hunter. Last ride in the playoffs. Because I'll tell you what, he's going to come out there and he's going to give Milwaukee everything they don't want to see.
Hornets last year were 36 and 46, so they're a little bit better, maybe 1 game or 2 on pace for that, but we'll see how the final few games end up in that. Out west, Oklahoma City, San Antonio sitting in the 7 and 8 spots tied, and Sacramento still has a chance. 7 games to go, 6.5 back. So you're saying there's a chance. It looks like
So
the
you're
West
saying there's a
is
chance.
locked in. Sacramento,
Do you wanna know
a
what's
great
so
surprising
crazy?
season. I want to give them some credit.
Oklahoma City at one time was
Second.
sitting in the Yes.
Earlier on, they were in the 2 seed behind Denver.
And then
while Steph was hurt.
it seems like almost a month ago they were sitting in the 4, and now it just shows you how tight the West is, though.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Golden State against Oklahoma City is not gonna be easy.
No, it's not gonna be easy. Do I think Golden State comes out of it? Yes, but I don't.
4-1.
It won't
Might even be a sweep.
I don't think it'll be easy because I think Paul George is gonna give them everything they want. Russell Westbrook's gonna be dead by the end of this because he's just gonna go out there and try and get triple doubles every time. The problem with Golden State, and it's the same thing every year, the firepower is everywhere.
The least watched series would be if it was San Antonio and Denver, right? I mean, they'll put that at the 12 o'clock game on the East Coast and be like, "Hey, good luck, guys."
I think the one that might get a lot of watch though would be.
Now remember, San Antonio
Houston.
and OKC's tied for that spot, and then so is the 1 and 2 spot. So those could change any time in the next few days. Portland's in the 3, get half game above Houston in that spot, so that could flip-flop in the next few days.
And that might be a tough route. Look at that whole schedule again. If Golden State would have to start off Oklahoma City, then their next game might go against Houston.
Yeah.
And then they have to go against either Denver or Portland to make it on in. That's not going to be easy to go for them.
No, it's not. It's not an easy road when you talk about the competition that they're going to play. But when they get to the championship, I don't think they'll have much of a problem with whoever comes out of the East. I hate to say it, but I think it's a three-peat. I think Golden State gets their
I know it is, unless somebody gets hurt or suspended. I don't see anything getting in that way. It's just the regular season. Let's not.
It is.
Let's not be excited about them only winning 50-something games right now. You got to remember, you got to beat them 4 times out of 7. Not that's Kevin Durant and Steph Curry on the same floor. Who do you got in the finals before we go to break?
Golden State, and I'm gonna take Philadelphia right now. Right now, I'll take Philadelphia.
I got Golden State and Boston.
I've had Golden State and the Raptors since the start of the season. They traded for Marc Gasol, and that has made it even more solidifying for me. I think the Raptors come out of the East. Milwaukee's turned into that team that I think that has that great regular season. And just
watch out, Giannis hurt.
Giannis shoots 11% from three-point range. I'm not really too concerned about that. I can't even say his last
Was he
name.
still averaging like 28?
That's not. I mean, that's good. So Shaq did that too. But Shaq, whatever. Anyway,
I was gonna say they both are physical freaks.
He's very good. I just think Toronto's got the best lineup.
I mean, if it just came down to depth wise, I would agree with you. But the best player in the East right now is Giannis.
All right, folks, we got to take a break. JP's in the house. That's Carson Banana in the corner. He couldn't make it this morning. Had too many beverages after the big Duke win last night. I guess couldn't make it in this morning. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. We got to talk NCAA basketball tournament time. We've got NFL. We've got Major League Baseball, NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson's on the pole, Terry. Somebody got lost and ended up in the front. We'll be back in just a few minutes. KTC broadcast.
It's the Spring Open House this Saturday, March 30th at Westin Sales in Vail. Hi, I'm Calvin Hastings, and I want to invite you to join the boss as we broadcast live from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. during the big Spring Open House event at Westin Sales in Vail. There will be plenty of free food, including City Lunch and Dairy Queen hot dogs, ice cream and sweet treats, plus face painting for kids, and plenty of door prizes. Plus, register to win a free night's lodging at the Hampton Inn, free food certificates, free rounds of golf at Pine Mountain Golf Course, and some Boss t-shirts. And save big. Take 20% off Echo handheld equipment and take 10% off in-stock parts. And check out the full line of Coyote, Grasshopper, Cub Cadet, and Bobcat lawnmowers and tractors. So save the date and plan now to be there for the big Spring Open House event this Saturday, March 30th, 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Westin Sales, Highway 18 and 27 intersection in Vail. They'll buy it back. Buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. What are we talking about? The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Whether you're trading or buying or selling, Renato Auto Mall will buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. Plus, it will be open Sunday from 12 noon till 5 p.m. for this special event. Don't miss it. Now is the time to buy. The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday, March 31st only at Renato Auto Mall. 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right below the Cleveland Mall.
What are you looking forward to most in life? In the book of Acts, in the first chapter, verse 9 says these words, "After saying this, he was taken up into a cloud while they were watching, and they could no longer see him. 2 white-robed men suddenly stood among them. 'Men of Galilee,' they said, 'why are you standing here staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go.'" Something to look forward to is the return of Jesus. This is Vince Hefner, pastor of the First Baptist Church of Cherryville, saying, don't give in to sin. Think about it.
Texas Motor Speedway.
Start your engine!
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500.
The Texas fans are on their feet. Get up and get ready for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500.
Trouble along the front stretch. Martin Truex Jr.
Brad Keselowski jumps right down there to the bottom as well.
Kyle Larson has slipped up out of the racing group and hammered the outside wall.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 from Texas. Sunday, March 31st at 2 p.m.
The O'Reilly Parts 500, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL. 1590 AM, 92.3 FM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
With a roster full of young superstars, the sky's the limit for the 2019 Atlanta Braves, and we'll bring you every huge moment.
Fly ball to deep left center field.
At the track, looking up, it's out of here.
Atlanta Braves baseball, back again on the Boston Carolina Country. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
You're not on. Y'all aren't.
Who's not on? Am I on?
I don't hear y'all in here at all.
I hear us.
I hear.
I hear us.
I hear us.
I hear us. JP. We good, brother. We good, brother. Is your mic on? Is that why? You got your...
No, I just now turned it on.
Okay. Well, if your mic's on, you can't hear the speakers in there. All right, West End sales this morning. They're going to have City Lunch hot dogs, Terry, Calvin, and Ron up there. They've got ATVs, UTVs, every ABC you could think of up there with 4 wheels on it, all kinds of tractors. I mean, anything and everything they've got used. So that means who knows what Terry's cousin brought in to trade in one day, right, Terry?
That's it. Could be. And
they got all kinds of things. I'm taking my son up there and kids up there in a little bit. We're going to have some ice cream and hot dogs up there. It's a West End Spring open house up there. They've got all the all the dealers in there talking to everybody. And giving some demonstrations and stuff. So we're going to check that out. It's only open till 1 o'clock today, though. So get out there this morning. West End sales up in Vail. Just go up 18 all the way till you get to it. All right. We were just talking about the NBA, though. How about the 76ers? I did want to mention how good they are now. Just think if Jahlil Okafor or Markelle Fultz was any good at all, and they would. I know they would be even better than what they are. So, all right, let's get into it. Yeah, Tom tells me I'm on. All right, Terry.
Would it not be Markelle Fultz? Don't you think he's another one of those bust city that you pick?
Oh, he's definitely
a bust. It's all mental for him, too.
When you go back and you think of the people that have been bust in the NBA, and he is a true one.
Well, I mean, we've
lately.
Anthony Bennett, too. I mean, we've been blowing ones left and right. We get mad at the Hornets over here, and they're
Boston
not the only,
sat back saying, "Thank you very much. We needed Tatum."
Yeah, you know that's exact. Terry, I got a feeling that, I mean, I don't know if y'all are gonna succeed this postseason.
We will
with the arguments.
I mean, all you gotta do is make the playoffs, guys. I mean, that's what people keep saying. I mean, there'll be a different Boston team when we hit the playoffs.
Well, they're in Texas this weekend. Kyle Busch last night wins the truck race, and everybody's fussing about it. Now there was about, you know how they talk about how you taking spots from younger guys.
Yeah.
Well, he also, what he does is take money from older guys who this is their job and career. So here's the drivers last night, top 5. Kyle Busch, 33 years old. Stuart Friesen, 35 years old. Johnny Salter, 40. Grant Enfinger, 34. And Matt Crafton, 42. So the older guys are doing the truck type stuff. The younger guys are trying to come up to the Xfinity. For the most part. But you got Busch down here, racing and winning these things when he don't need to.
He's only racing in 5 truck races though. It's probably his 4th or 5th one here.
And that's true. But as if you were in those races, how would you feel about some of the NASCAR's guys coming into the field, because it's different for them running 10th and finishing in the middle of the pack and something and having fun and bringing fans to the sport. If they're going down there and winning every time,
but
does it diminish your sport, saying, hey, we're not even good enough, this guy comes down here and wins every time?
No,
and also, but it's also my thing about it. My biggest thing is probably I don't care about the feelings. Is that first place money is going to Kyle Busch and not someone who's doing
Kyle
this for an actual living.
Doesn't need that money.
Right.
He's got a contract that's sometimes probably 2 times bigger than these truck drivers.
Eminem's contract's bigger than probably what the rest of them make.
His salary at JGR is a couple million, where some of these guys might be only making maybe $100,000 to race, if even that. Just think about it, if even that. When you said though, just bring fans out, maybe come in 10th. Good and well, these drivers are just as competitive as stick and ball players. So they're not ones to just say, I might just come in 10th today. So I know he's not going to do that, because Kyle Busch, out of all the NASCAR drivers, is the chippiest one, and he wants to win every time, and he'll do anything.
Do you not think that ends up bringing more people into the stands if he's in one of them races?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's like
because you never know what he's going to do. You never know what he's going to do whether it's on the track or in pit row when it's over.
That's like last night in the race when they restarted. It was a joke. I mean, if he started first, by the time he got to the first turn, he's 3 truck lengths ahead of whoever's behind him. He has just taken off and he's left them, and that's what he did last night. He dominated the race again. He had no trouble. And, probably people say, well, he shouldn't be down here. Okay, well, if I take him away, there's a lot of fans that do not come because the other guys are building their names. But, I think he might bring something to it. Do I not like it? No, because it does take away from the guys who are in the truck series, like Salter and all them guys,
Do you think NASCAR, because, truck series is still NASCAR. At the end of the day, it's still NASCAR.
It is.
Do you think NASCAR should have a deal with all of their drivers that you gotta race at least 1 truck series race a year? That way it's not Kyle Busch out there 5 times a year. He might race 1 time. He can bring the fans in that way. Maybe his brother has to race 1. Kurt has to race 1. It interchanges out. So someone that's good on the NASCAR platform who might not be as good in trucks, but he's a big name, there's no guarantee he's going to come down here and win. Now, he's going to be competitive because obviously he's racing in a NASCAR. He's racing them stock cars instead of just a truck. But do you think that would be something that NASCAR should look into? Because that's what everybody's saying is it's just Kyle Busch's name. That's all I'm hearing out of this is Kyle Busch is doing this, Kyle Busch is doing that. Well, what if it was Kevin Harvick this week?
Do you think though? How far deep do you go? I think
you let any of them that are racing on the NASCAR platform, any of them can go down there, and it's obviously a one race contract with whoever they're going down to race for. It's a 1 race contract. They're going to get compensated for what they do, but none of this race 4 to 5, maybe 6 different truck races.
Send 2 of them at a time.
Yeah, if you want to send 2 of them,
this week
send 2 of them.
Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch.
Exactly. Send 2 of them at a time and tell me that won't be competitive. That won't be something to watch because good and well they're going to be fighting for 1 and 2, unless Jimmy Johnson just isn't as good of a truck driver as he is a NASCAR driver.
They are some good drivers into truck racing. That's all they do. But you
got to remember trucks and NASCAR's aerodynamically 2 different things. They're totally different. So there's no guarantee someone that's a stock car fiend that's always finishing top 10 is necessarily going to go down there and dominate in trucks. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Kyle Busch get his start in Truck Series, really? That's where his name came up?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% sure either, but you would think for him to have this much success, this obviously, I know he's been racing trucks for the past couple of years, though, going back and forth. This obviously isn't his first rodeo in truck.
The as far as Jimmy's concerned on that, he can. There's nothing I don't think he can drive. He grew up driving dirt tracks and motorcycles, so anything the back end slides on, I think Jimmy's pretty good on that end. He's won with. And I know I can't remember exactly how many cars. Is it 4 different cars, Terry, or 5 different cars that NASCAR has thrown at them?
Off the top of my head.
And 4 or 5 different and 4 or 5 different formats. So no matter what they threw at him, they had it until now when something obviously is wrong.
I don't know.
Chevy all the way across the board.
I just think that would be a good idea because I understand what you're saying about how he pulls fans into these Truck Series races. And we understand there are young up and comers. You're gonna get your chance to shine, but here's a chance and I don't know if Kyle Busch is open to it, but here's a chance for you to walk over there, either before the race, after the race, and pick a NASCAR driver's brain. Talk to him. Have your pit crew talk to his pit crew. Pick their brain a little bit. And it's competitive because now you getting to go against one of the top NASCAR drivers, if not the best driver in NASCAR. So there are pros and cons to it. I understand especially what Kevin's saying. I think, if anything, if he wins, and I know that's just weird, but I don't think he should even take the prize money. He don't need it. He just goes out there really for wins and because he loves to drive Truck Series. But at the end of the day, why else? I mean, that's the incentive. You got to take it.
What if one of them guys wrecks you?
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the money
you make
if
a
I
good
win.
point. I don't know because I do understand where Kevin's coming from, saying some of these guys, that's all they do is race Truck Series, and that's their income. Getting those bonuses for winning these races, that's their income.
And I think
you don't need it
won-
because think about it. He got that prize money, and there's as good a chance he'll win today or tomorrow.
Yeah, they are.
And get that prize money. So he's just raking it in.
And like I said, I know he only scheduled 4 or 5 times that he's going to be in the truck race. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's lost any that he's been in.
Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't expect him to. If I was in Vegas and I had to bet on somebody to win a Truck Series and Kyle Busch's name is in there, why would I not bet against the NASCAR champion at one point? Okay, I don't know, but I think that would be something intriguing to keep the fans in the stands. That rhymed. Fans in the stands at Truck Series races is, maybe just having a contract with maybe 10 drivers, and they cycle through, not every week, but, one of them drops down and races in the Truck Series, gets their name out there. Their fans will show up because now it's not just Kyle Busch fans that are out there. You'll have other people's fans show up to these races to watch them race. You get a chance to watch them twice in a weekend. You get a chance to watch them on Sunday, and you get a chance to watch them on Friday nights.
They're talking about more double headers and stuff too. I do think that they should definitely be doing that. The trucks and the Xfinities, I think, should be if they can on the Saturdays.
I think they need to do a lot of
stuff. And the day, they can do that, and then Yes,
they have a lot of stuff NASCAR can do to make this more fan friendly. I think
they need more people on the outside to say some stuff because and then you got the big problem is it is run by one family, so there's a lot of tradition and pride and things that they may not want to bend on, and that's been a problem that you've had to deal with.
Talk about bending. The NASCAR schedule for next year's been bent.
Well, I'm trying to pull up the actual. I had
That's a good idea though. The double header. Think about it. You could have what is it? Truck Series Friday night, Saturday nights Xfinity, Sunday nights Cup.
Yeah, so they're doing a couple next year. It's talking about the Pocono and the 4 other races.
Yeah, just have a Saturday and have it an all-day event. Have your either the Truck Series be either the early race or the Xfinity be the early race. Yeah, an all-day thing where the fans get their money's worth. If they're going to spend all that money to get in the stands, they get to watch maybe 10 hours of racing. If not more.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
I think that's phenomenal.
The biggest factors, of course, as always, is the weather.
And
all of that.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing about anything like that.
So I had a cool graphic somewhere that showed me all the changes, and for the life of me, I've been searching on it the past 10 minutes. I've been talking about this, trying to find my cool graphic, and I can't find it. So I'm just going to have to read off some of the schedule for next year, and I can't remember any of the changes, but we're going to do my best to do some of them. I do know some of the final on the 10, and then Indianapolis was moved
to the 4th,
to July 4th weekend.
Why would we do that, y'all? Can you tell me why?
What was July 4th weekend?
That was back to Daytona.
Where did that race go?
It went almost to the last race of the regular season before you got into your last 10.
What, do they want you to end on a super speedway?
Yeah, it's going to end up.
It is the last race in. Daytona's the last race in. It's a wild card to get in.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow.
But I agree. I don't understand why would you go to.
I like that.
I don't understand why they would do Minneapolis around July 4th. Nobody's going to say for their July 4th weekend, let's go to Minneapolis to watch a NASCAR race. Now, Daytona was going to draw a crowd.
Sure
somewhere down in the south where it's closer to a beach is going to draw a crowd.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Them rednecks is going to
go
in.
And plus, look at this. From July 26th through August 2nd, there's two weeks with no racing. Why have they done that?
What is that, like their all-star break?
No, that's not the all-star.
I mean, we've only had a week, and then the next week they'll be racing. But now we're going to have a 2-week span.
They do have 2 weeks right there. But this is 2020.
I've got to. We'll break it down more next week. I got to go read up on it and make sure I get all the details on it because I want to be fully in depth on the knowledge of it. But
yeah, they have
that
2-week break.
Right that
July,
does look weird on that.
2 months after the All-Star
I'm not sure
race.
I like that ending to get in the chase in Daytona because it's such a it's random. There's nothing to it. There's anybody could wreck. So like you could
that or Talladega.
You're racing your whole season.
You just want the final race to get in to be super speedway, don't you?
That's it.
If it was the week before,
survive.
If it was the week if it was the week before, I probably wouldn't mind it. But I don't know
why
about
don't we
the
just
one to
do
get
the
in.
dang Roval?
Well, I mean, this is how I would end it. If it was up to me, my last 3 races would be this.
Super speedway.
No, we would go to Bristol, Talladega, and Daytona all in a row.
Super speedway.
I don't mind the Bristol. I honestly don't mind the Bristol because there's some good racing in that. Now, the Daytona thing, here's why. Let's say you're sitting in the...
You wouldn't end in the heart of race country, Charlotte, North Carolina?
Let's say
technically Concord?
That's when one person gets out front and they lead the whole race.
Let's say you're in the 10th or the next to last spot, the last and the next to last spot to the chase going into Daytona. Okay? Most racetracks in that spot, you can say, well, I got to stay ahead of this guy. I've got to play it safe, be smart, do this. If it's Daytona, you're like, I could reckon I have no idea what I'm.
Just balls to the wall
I'm
the
out.
whole time.
But all I'm doing is hoping I don't. There's nothing.
All I got to do is tell you should have won one of them 25 races before you ever got there.
I agree. That's a good point. But still, that's
don't put it on your points at this point in time. You should have won.
That's so random. God, there's gonna be a fight, Terry. August 29th. Just write it down. Somebody's fighting in Daytona. Whether it's a NASCAR driver or member, or I'm sure there'll be plenty in the stands.
Do you like it this year ending in Phoenix?
That's what I wanted to get to. We're going to be a new championship race. Is no longer in Homestead, Miami. Homestead has been kicked out of the whole 10. I don't know where they. Let me find out where they put them at. Did they move them up earlier in the season? Then Homestead is now March. So for you NASCAR fans, they've so if you folks don't pay attention, kind of how it works.
Next year's.
This is next year.
This is they're trying to keep the the hot weathered ones in the colder weather months and try to keep that weather balanced in the schedule. So it is going to end in Phoenix, Terry. Is that an automatic Kevin Harvick championship?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I don't like Phoenix. Why would you put Phoenix?
Well, it's the weather thing. You're in November. You have to have a warm track, so it has to be Arizona or Florida, probably.
See, I don't like how they do it. I like the Daytona ending. I like that fantastic. They ought to move October the 4th.
I tell you what, I wouldn't
to the last race.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the championship being Daytona. I'm opposed to the one to get into Daytona because there's a different strategy. Is in I'm racing for points getting in as opposed to hey, this is championship. It's balls to the walls. I gotta win.
What you
so Daytona
would you
the
be
last
against?
race,
Would you be against
them
racing in Vegas?
No.
For championship?
No.
Vegas?
Not me. Because
what about California?
I don't like any race where one guy gets out front and can lead 400 laps.
I mean, that's true.
I don't like any of them races. I mean, that's not racing to me. It's racing where
catch up.
everybody in the
catch up.
field can get there. If I got Daytona where it's at, I would leave that, but I'd move October the 4th, Talladega, to the very end. I would make that the race, and if you, for the 4 drivers who are there, don't get caught in any mess.
I honestly wouldn't mind that. The championship part of that is totally fine with me, the restrictor plate race and the Daytona and the Talladega. It's like I said, it's the one to get into it. I think that just throws a terrible wrench in the strategies of teams for the whole season of what they've been doing. And then, so, but you're right, Terry, it makes you have to win, but it just really does mess up. Some of these teams can't win, and it does mess up their strategy for that. Let's look at it. It's going to end with the last segment. It will be Kansas, Texas, and Martinsville. So Martinsville right before the championship.
I like that. I have nothing wrong with that.
Have some bumping and grinding in Martinsville. Charlotte is October 11th. That's the Roval. I guess it'll still be the Roval next year. I haven't heard official news on it. Yes,
I was about to say, let's reiterate, we're talking about next year's schedule.
next year.
This is next year's schedule.
But Charlotte will be in the same grouping with Vegas, Talladega, and then Charlotte will be a cutoff race. So that'll be about speed there in Charlotte, pure speed, because, that's another one of those ones where the leader gets out front, Terry.
Texas is the same way.
Charlotte is so thin, like the track, that there's just not a lot of passing.
Didn't we just race at Phoenix?
Yeah, I think Darlington starts it with Richmond and Bristol. So you got 2 short tracks and Darlington in the first segment. So that's a lot of torn sheet metal in the first 3 weeks there, Terry.
I love Darlington being in the chase.
Right, I do too.
Yeah, I like that part of it. But now Darlington is also a track that anything can happen, even towards the end of the race, on account of the race track. But Darlington is also a track that if somebody gets out front, they can lead a lot of laps. So,
All right, well, that leads us into this weekend. Real quick, Johnson does have the pole, believe it or not. I don't know exactly how that happened, Terry, but a Chevrolet has gotten a pole at a non-restrictor plate racetrack. Let me get back to that. Looking at the standings, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Keselowski, Almirola, Truex, Blaney, Elliott, Busch, Larson, Stenhouse, Bowyer, Eric Jones, and then finally Johnson down in 15th. Bowman's down in there altogether. Those Chevrolets
just enough to make the field.
Having a tough time of it, ain't they, Terry? Yeah, just enough to make the field. Let's go over the starting lineup here in Texas before our next break. Johnson, Byron, Elliott, Dillon. What are all them Chevys doing in front, Terry? What happened this weekend in Texas?
4 out of the 5.
Somewhere along
Look in the 10.
line.
4 out of the
Look
5.
at the top
Hendricks figured out something.
7 Chevys in the top 10 this week at a regular racetrack to only 2 Fords, and none of them are named Kevin Harvick. What is going on? Bubba Wallace is in 10th. What happened to the Fords, Terry? Something's going to happen this weekend. We figured something out, somebody in the Chevy department. It might be a race you want to check out this weekend,
Kyle Busch,
Terry.
16th.
I might say that, yeah. Kyle Busch,
Stages
16th.
makes it so anybody can win.
Harvick's down in 23rd. So, folks, it's going to be interesting. That'll be Sunday on KTC Broadcast and WCSL 1590 AM.
When was it that you guys were both out and it was me and Tom? It's been almost, a month ago? Something like that.
About 16 years ago.
No, but what was so funny? Is we talked about NASCAR for a second. We looked at the poll, and it had Kyle Busch was like 31st, and he ended up finishing 2nd in that race. I said the stage just makes it wide open for anybody.
All I do know, Terry, is that last week Carson and Hunter wore their Braves hats.
They did.
And then the next week, Carson got sick. It just all went downhill from there. For the first time in 7 years, they proved that they owned the same Braves hats. Or didn't own the same Braves hats.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you something funny before we go into baseball real quick. In the next break, my son's team is the Braves. We'll be back in a minute.
There you go.
On KTCBroadcasting.com.
Country Gold with Terry Clark.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s. My guest this week will be my friend Trisha Yearwood from Backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. She has a new Sinatra tribute album called Let's Be Frank. Plus, she's celebrating her 20th anniversary as an Opry member. That's Trisha Yearwood with me this week on Country Gold with Terry Clark.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at kdcbroadcasting.com.
It's Texas.
Daniel Suarez is out of shape. He's spinning.
It's the My Bariatric Solutions 300.
Justin Allgaier really trying to push the point. He's going to try to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Almost comes together.
We have a car in the fence. It's Christopher Bell.
Ryan Reed now gets sideways and gathers it back up.
Here's Ryan Blaney. He takes the checkered flag.
The My Bariatric Solutions 300 from Texas. Saturday, March 30th at 12:30.
The My Bariatric Solutions 250, Saturday afternoon at 2:30 on Carolina Country, WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at kdcbroadcasting.com. They'll buy it back. Buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. What are we talking about? The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Whether you're trading or buying or selling, Renato Auto Mall will buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. Plus, it will be open Sunday from 12 noon till 5 p.m. for this special event. Don't miss it. Now is the time to buy. The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday, March 31st only at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right below the Cleveland Mall.
There you go, Ann. Your new account is now open. Just one more little thing.
Here's your card.
What was that?
It's my new bank. Every time I turn around, I get hit with another fee.
You need to get an account at Carolina Federal Credit Union.
She's right.
Tired of getting hit by bank fees? Switch to Carolina Federal Credit Union today. Make those pains go away.
Here's your receipt.
There's no one like you. And Pandora Jewelry is opening up all kinds of possibilities to show that to the world with the new open bangle. Beautifully crafted from sterling silver with new interchangeable end caps. You can mix, match, and even have the freedom to customize like never before. Shop the new open bangle from Pandora Jewelry now and do see the wonderful Pandora Jewelry. Available at Facet Foundry Jewelry Studios, 530 South New Hope Road, Gastonia. Online at facetfoundryjewelry.com.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
And welcome back to Saturday Sports Talk, breakfast by Mitchem's Kitchen. JP, what you eating on today?
Well, I did have a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
He did have.
Sausage,
so
egg,
that
and
means
cheese
it
biscuit.
is gone.
It is in the process of changing into something else. Hunter, what'd you have for breakfast?
A biscuit.
That it? Just biscuit?
Well, it's a steak, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you watered that down with, just the biscuit. I had a chicken, egg, and cheese. Terry?
Mine might have been chicken, egg, and cheese.
I had oatmeal. That's
You don't
exactly
even
what,
know.
that's exactly what he had. See, he
Yeah.
don't even remember. He
I
just
couldn't tell.
swallowed it.
Might
Yeah,
have
I
been
just ate
chicken.
it.
That's
I
it.
just needed it.
I guess Carson's got an extra biscuit around here, Hunter.
I'm fine.
See?
I'm fine.
All right, what was Carson supposed to have? What does he have?
Ron took that one.
Oh, Ron took his.
Yep,
Okay, never mind.
that's
There
it.
is
Well,
not.
then
There's not an
nothing.
extra biscuit around.
It's was not thought of.
All right, NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, top of the hour, 9 o'clock. That's what Hunter Yancey's been waiting all morning to talk about. The greatest thing we've ever seen. I'm going to go ahead and get started on my high horse, and it has nothing to do about the basketball. I want to get on this TV stuff with local stations in this tournament. CBS has the rights to it. They've had the rights to it for I don't know how many years.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have, I don't know how many stations are broadcasting these games. 4 or 5. True TV, TNT,
CBS, True TV, TNT, and TBS are 4.
So 4.
Yeah.
All right. We live in the Charlotte TV station area. They have the rights to the local stations. Just like in the NFL and football, they have the rights to these local games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't tell me they're showing the better games or whatever it is, because the first day they didn't show me the Gardner-Webb Virginia game. They didn't show me the North Carolina game. They showed me the North Dakota State game, though. Then the next time, they didn't show the North Carolina game after they won. They didn't show the Sweet 16. I mean, the round of 32 game. But I got to see Duke UCF. And then last night, again, North Carolina. I'm like, well, that's the Sweet 16. Surely to goodness, the Charlotte CBS station would have the local team on. No, LSU Michigan.
But they do show Duke.
And then as soon as LSU Michigan goes off, I get to see Duke again. So anyway, y'all go. I have to go make calls.
Yeah, I mean, when Kevin was sending that out to me last night, I sat back and I said, "Whoa," you know, because I as Tar Heel fans, you think that automatically would be on yours. I mean, what are they going to tell you? Well, it's not sold out. Well, the Duke game probably wasn't either. I mean, you know, you're playing. I mean,
Right.
I understand it should be sold out, but when you get this way and you're playing away from home and unless you bring a total fan group that's going with you to sell out that place, those places are not going to sell out because you're sitting in places who probably seat 60 to 70 some thousand people.
Yep.
You know, and I do understand that that's a big thing, but I have a hard time with your local stations that are free, that some people don't have all these other channels, and they're not getting to see their local teams.
Right.
And I mean, I had a hard time when Kevin sent that out yesterday because
and I don't
he's watching LSU Michigan State.
Yeah, and I don't understand it either. I understand that just because Duke is in the Eastern bracket, North Carolina is in the Midwest, well, you can pull the feed from somebody. You've got CBS stations all over the place. I mean, just because one team was playing in Washington, D.C., and the other one playing in Kansas City, you can pull the feed. Local teams, there's a reason why they're called local teams, and you have local stations that cover your local teams. It's ridiculous. Like, nobody in this, well, okay, I'm going to take that back. There might be people in this area just because they've moved here that are LSU or Michigan State fans. But there's nobody born in North Carolina that's a LSU Michigan State fan unless your family relocated here. For the majority of it, there's one of a few teams, but the big three, North Carolina, NC State, and Duke. Okay, when they play, we usually should expect to see them on local TV. For God's sakes, they even show UNC Charlotte on local television. They'll show Appalachian State on local television, which they should. There's nothing against that. But I agree 110% that you can't tell me just because one team was playing in D.C., it was easier for you to get the feed than the team that was playing in Kansas City. You are a multi-million, if not billion-dollar television network. You can pull the feed from anywhere.
And another thing I'm going to ask y'all is I was watching a local TV station the other day, and they can't show previews of the game. They come on and they'll show, okay, they lost this game, and they show final score, but they couldn't show the previews of the game of how it ended. And I'm like, well, what kind of rights is that you cannot show it? And then on my other end, we used to have whether State, Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest, or whoever around here, if you were local teams, somehow or another, either one of these stations locally would pull you, whether you was in the NIT or NCAA, you got to watch our teams play.
Yeah.
Now, we have totally went away from that, and somebody cannot, or why can you tell me that does not happen?
But I can tell you 110% why Duke's being shown.
Duke's shown every time.
I can tell you why Duke's being shown, and it is a guy by the name of Zion Williamson.
Oh no! During the LSU Michigan game, the halftime show was a Zion Williamson show. Wow. It wasn't even about LSU and Michigan State. It was
I believe it.
I took a picture and sent it to y'all. That's what I was watching. Everyone else in the world on that you have to pay for cable to watch USC. Terry, we could wheel the TVs in, bubble TVs on a stand, and watch every NCAA game 25 years ago, and I couldn't watch Carolina yesterday.
And I
could not watch Carolina sitting in North Carolina from 30 minutes from Charlotte, downtown Charlotte. I could be at the Charlotte Hornets their arena, exactly 30 minutes from my house.
Right, and you could not watch North Carolina.
Or I could go the other way, 20 minutes to Gardner Webb. Couldn't watch that.
I know,
play.
and they're faulting you for not having those other channels. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that
like we're from the state of North Carolina. I could give a rip what Michigan State LSU's
because
doing.
it's free. Remember, so I'm gonna show you somebody you don't want to see.
Well, that. But here's that's also, and then Carson brought up a good point. With there's an app, the March Madness app, where you can watch any game, and you could. I pulled it up yesterday. But here's the thing.
They want your.
Why don't just show me that on the TV?
Yeah,
the free TV. I either have to pay for cable or I have to download an app.
Yeah.
What about the people that don't have the internet, that don't want to pay $200 a month to watch TV?
Yeah.
They don't. For the one time a year that Gardner Webb comes on True TV, I'm supposed to pay $200 a month to the cable company for that.
Well, I'm gonna be
honest.
honest.
Is that what I'm supposed to do for the one time Gardner Webb plays?
We discussed this one time that me and you sat in here, and this is off the air, but I went and I kind of pulled different places. And the problem I have is this. I don't mind calling you, but one week that I made 3 phone calls, started on a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This has nothing to do with sports or anything. This has a lot to do with me but I talked to people in Orlando, Florida. I talked to people in Wisconsin. I talked to people in Ohio. I finally come across somebody in North Carolina who helped me during this thing. And then when I had to call back, she couldn't finalize it. But then when I was talking again, I ended up talking to somebody back in Wisconsin to get my stuff done. I have a hard time with that. Come on, people. If I'm in North Carolina, I should speak to somebody in North Carolina.
What? And it's obviously for a service that you're getting here in the state. Yeah, if you're getting a service here in the state, like your television provider where you get your local channels from, obviously you should probably, like if you get, does Spectrum do television as well? Or is it just Charter? No, Spectrum owns Charter now, so it is. So yeah, so Spectrum TV.
But any argument that they make, that I can come up with, or idea they come up with, is just bull to me, because you can sit there and say, well, what in the 1C? What in the 1? It was Carolina was a 116 matchup. Virginia Gardner was a 116 matchup, but you showed Duke. But then you say, well, the ratings were on TNT for Carolina Auburn, but you showed Duke on CBS. So everything was Duke. And what's bad about it? And I was trying to explain to the USA Today writer Terry that I was sitting next to. And, you talk about the fans in the state of North Carolina, and I was trying to explain to him there is way more North Carolina fans than actually Duke fans. Yeah. Also, Duke, people don't understand it. Most of us don't consider it a North Carolina school because none of the players are ever from North Carolina.
Yeah,
look at North Carolina's roster. It's 80, 75%, almost 90% North Carolina players always. None of the Duke players, even the guys that sit on the bench and keep the GPA
I can name
are
two
not
of
from
them
Duke.
off the top of my head right now from North Carolina. Kobe White and Luke May.
Oh, yeah.
They both, and Luke May's from Huntersville.
So and then they play on ESPN. On all their games are on ESPN. They play almost all. If they play an away game, it's at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That's the only away games they play during the regular season.
MSG. That's exactly right.
So I don't know. I was trying to just explain to the guys, like,
there are more Duke fans in New York and New Jersey
than in
North Carolina.
And then the CBS station. It just made me. It's not that it's. I don't care that you showed me, dude. Why is Gardner Webb in North Carolina not on the Charlotte station?
I agree. Well, even with the provider I have in the NIT, and they have their top elite station.
Terry, they're not used to getting phone calls about the NIT, though.
I know, but even in the NIT, my team was not on that super station. They were on another station that I had to have a tier 1 to get. You know what I'm saying? So there was another reason that I took your team away, so you're not able to see them.
Yeah. Getting off of the topic of the television.
Now, we talked about all that just so
before we do that, I want to say this.
And,
I want to say this, and I want to see if you guys agree with me, because me and my buddy, who's a huge basketball fan, and he played basketball in high school. He loves basketball; it's his favorite sport. He said he is so upset with where basketball has gone when it comes with officiating. How many travels they get away with, carries they get away with, which I'm not a big carry guy. That's how most of the time you carry when you try and size somebody up or when you're trying to do a crossover. But the travels, sometimes they miss double dribbles that are so blatant right in front of them. And the worst ones are when they call defensive fouls on the defender when his arms are straight up, but the offensive guy just jumps into him. Now that tears me up. Just because he initiates contact, it's a foul. What do you want the defender to do? He's standing there with his arms up. That's how RJ. You know how many times RJ Barrett went to the line last night because that's exactly what he did. The defender standing there with his arms straight up. RJ Barrett just knows all he has to do is put his shoulder into him with a little jump, make it look like he got hit, and put the ball up. Same thing with 3-point shooters. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, you're making the game like how they're trying to make football, where defense is a liability and it's all offense. The defender has no opportunity. All he can do is just stand there with his arms up, because any chance he goes up with him, arms straight up, it's a foul. And even if he's standing flat-footed, arms straight up, all he has to do is kind of lean in, throw that shoulder just a little bit. If he's stuck under the basket and can't just go straight up, if I just nudge him a little bit and kind of jerk off like I'm throwing the ball up in the air, it's going to make it look like I got fouled and they're going to get it to me. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for the game. And it's getting these, what sucks really, because college basketball is 5 fouls. It's not 6 you foul out, it's 5. So you're already at a hindrance there. I think it should be 6. I think college college rules should college should adopt a lot of the NBA rules. If that's where you're trying to get to, why would you not?
So then you think they should go to 4 quarters?
Probably.
No, well, 4 quarters. I mean, I'm fine with 2 halves. Why not 25-second
shot
clock?
5 or 6 TV timeouts anyway. They might as well just take a quarter.
I mean, think about it.
I don't think that
and 25-second shot clock.
Well, North Carolina State played in the NIT.
Is men's basketball the only form of college men's basketball? The only form of basketball that didn't quarters? Do girls play quarters?
Yeah, girls play quarters.
Men's basketball is the only one.
Overseas plays quarters.
Yeah.
Overseas,
I mean, even the girls played. And
everybody
plays
4 quarters.
Yeah.
But
they're already shooting from NBA 3-point range. Why not?
The thing the NIT did was they moved the 3-pointer back. I agree with that because I think it's become so easy now because that's all you take.
Yeah.
I don't like the resetting the fouls. You get 5, and then at the 10-minute mark it goes back to 0, and you got to build 5 fouls. But the biggest thing about that, I did like what they did. Well, I ain't gonna say I really liked it because there's no 1-and-1s now.
Yeah,
it's automatically 2 shots.
I don't like 2 shots at all at any level. I can't stand 2 shots.
I think it ought to be.
I don't see it any reason you should get 2 shots unless you're shooting.
Well,
if I foul, you should make.
If it's just me touching you, there's no way you should get 2 shots.
You should make it free throws.
I agree.
You want to.
I'm with that.
And okay, let's say even if you do go to 2 shots, Terry, make it 12 or 15 fouls. Yeah. Not 10. You only get 3 1-on-1s.
I would go with this. Okay, if you're gonna reset it after 5 fouls, then it's 1-and-1 from number 6 through 10.
But am I crazy? Yeah. But am I crazy? Have you been noticing it too, where it's like the defense gets a foul call on them in an instant, but there's hardly ever any offensive fouls.
Well, Zion Williams run over the guy from UCF
before he went up against
and
Taco.
Then he went against the other one. Now the guy did move his arms down, and Zion went into him.
Taco fouled him. Taco fouled him.
He did.
But it should have been an offensive foul on Zion.
Foul. I agree.
But who wants to be that referee?
All right, speaking of that, speaking of offensive fouls on Zion, during the game last night, Zion was dribbling.
Right.
Slapped the defender in the back of the head.
That was a hook.
And
he got away with a hook.
And they called the foul on the back of the kid's head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat that. Zion did a swim move where he smacked the kid in the back of the head, and they called the foul on the back of the head.
I can pull the message up where I told my best friend that Zion got away with a hook.
And not only that, Terry, they went to review. And then not only in the review.
Was it blatant?
When they came out of the review, they had a live mic on one of the idiot refs say, inadvertent on Zion, no call. What? I mean, you can't look at that and say that the foul stood. Not no call
in slow motion.
It was no call on Zion.
No.
That's what he meant. He wasn't saying we're taking the foul away from the other dude.
No,
they still called the foul on the back of the guy's head.
Because what they always got to do when it goes to the head.
The back of a guy's head fouled Zion's hand. That's how good Zion is, Terry.
Because it's something in it. That's the rule. They always have to check anything above the shoulders, whether it's a flagrant or not.
Yeah.
Now, tell me something. Have we not took Zion and made him the crop of college basketball? Because when the game started last night, it was all about Zion, and when he dunked, oh my goodness, what? I mean, it was like the top of the roof just fell in. But when Virginia Tech would dunk, okay, Gooden with a dunk.
Virginia Tech played hard too.
But, I mean, we've took this guy and we made him college basketball, and it's all about him winning. The further he goes, the better it is for college basketball.
This is the only thing I'll say
It's
about
the world
Zion.
we live in, Terry.
This is the only thing I'll say about
everything today is better than it has ever been.
This is the only thing I'll say about Zion.
The world of politics and your life. But if the world of sports is different from everything else in the world, it's the greatest thing.
I heard a great analogy, and this is the only thing I'll say about Zion. They were like, it was on one of the major networks on one of their talk shows, and it was, and you probably heard it, Kevin, is Zion overrated? That was the question. Is Zion overrated? And this is
what you rate him.
And I was about to say, and it depends on how you look at him. A lot of people this week on networks have been saying, is he a top, because some article was written saying he's a top 50 NBA player already. He might very well be a top 50 NBA player when he gets there.
Yeah,
Let's
there
not
you go.
forget, because I agree. I saw it, and they were like, is he overrated? Now, I'm not going to say he's overrated in his game. His game is phenomenal. He is a phenomenal basketball player, but I'm not just going to crown him the king of the NBA just yet. But do I think he's going to be special? Absolutely. Absolutely. Shannon Sharp said it perfectly. He said it because he's a North Carolina fan. He said, I grew up a Tar Heel fan, and I'll never pull for Duke. But I like Zion. That's me. I can't stand Duke. I'll never pull for Duke. But I like Zion, and I think he's going to be very special in the NBA. But let's pump the brakes, okay? He is a man amongst boys right now in college basketball, because not all of these players, what is it, like they only have 64 picks in the NBA draft. There's only 2 rounds. Not all these players are going to get drafted.
Right.
Okay,
You're right.
So Zion, he's just a man amongst boys right now in the college basketball level.
There's more teams in the tournament that will be picked in the NBA draft.
That's what I'm saying. More teams in the tournament than there will be anybody picked in the NBA draft. And I'm just saying, let's pump the brake. Now, I think he's going to be special in his career, but when he comes in, you mean to because someone said he was better than Kemba Walker. I said, well, wait a minute. Kemba's 5'11", dropping 40, 50 points on these NBA players and making all-star games. Let's shut that down right now. That is blasphemous. He's going to be special. But he's a man amongst boys, and I don't know how he's going to match up when someone just a little bit as athletic as him
All right,
is
here's my
guarding
questions. And because this is how we do these things nowadays,
Yeah,
Terry.
yeah.
If Jordan was 6-0 with 6 MVPs, or 5 MVPs, 6 Finals MVPs, remember, and I want everybody to remember this when they start talking about something. With Jordan's 5 MVPs and 6 championships, Terry, who won the MVP that he didn't?
That he did not win.
Think about it. Who won that MVP? Barkley. Charles Barkley, 1993, won the MVP. The only one of his 6 championships that someone else won the MVP during their season. Barkley was also the leading scorer on 2 Olympic teams, including the Dream Team with Jordan on the roster.
He was on that roster.
When you folks start mentioning Zion and who to compare him to, please say Sean Kemp, Blake Griffin, Larry Johnson, and Rodney Rogers before you mention Barkley. He's a different person. He's a different player. He's a top 10, maybe top 10, 15 player ever. Be easy on the Barkley talk. He's not Barkley. Now, my other question is, Terry, if Zion goes 1-9 in the finals, does that make him better than LeBron because he went to more championships? Because remember, winning don't matter. Because according to the kids, it's how many you get to. 6-0 is not better than 3-6 according to people nowadays. So does that mean if Zion goes 1-9, he's better than LeBron? Obviously, right?
Well, everybody's going to say he is because he got to that
Andy
many
went to
championships.
college. Andy won more games in college. I mean, we just make up whatever we want as we go. All right, that's my question. For 15 years, is that what we're going to say? If he goes 1-9, is he better than LeBron? All right. Well, Auburn made 17 threes against North Carolina.
But now I tried to tell people last week when people asked me, I said, Auburn's your sleeper. I said they do the same game that Carolina does. They're going to shoot the threes, and they're very physical underneath. And Carolina could not punish them underneath like they have done other teams.
All right, let me finish this stuff. All right, 17 threes in one game. That's 51 points. All right, they put 51 points on North Carolina on threes alone. They lost to NC State, who scored 24 points in one game. So State could play 2 games and not have as many points as Auburn had in three-pointers alone against North Carolina. Every year Carolina gets beat in the tournament, three-pointers kill them in, and I want to lead all
That's
that.
always been their Achilles heel.
I know, and I want to circle that back around to what Terry said, and this is the reason why. Well, how do NBA teams play nowadays?
They shoot
fast, up-tempo, right?
shoot the three.
So what the NBA teams have done, D'Antoni took Carolina's offense, turned it into a three-point shooting offense, basically. Him and Nelson. Don Nelson started this before D'Antoni. Everybody forgets Don Nelson started this. Turn that around, though. Terry, how many points NC State score against North Carolina? 90-something.
Yes.
So if they only score 24 against another ACC team, and your offense and your system is set up to allow that team to score 90 on you, obviously there's a hole in that system, and that's what that is. It's a breeding ground for. Did y'all lose something in your all's ears, or is that just mine? It's a breeding ground for if someone gets hot in threes, can shoot you out of the gym. Auburn hit 17 threes, and that's exactly what happened.
That's been North Carolina's Achilles heel for
that's
years. That's how Duke has always been able to beat North Carolina in the past few years.
You're right, because Carolina they have more possessions in their games than other teams, and it turns into that, Terry.
But you know what Bruce Pearl said, though? He said I admire how North Carolina's play style is. That's what I brought to Auburn. He brought how North Carolina plays to Auburn.
But I'm going to tell you something at Carolina, and don't get me wrong, the paint-wise is I think where Carolina got beat last night. Don't get me wrong, they got destroyed from the threes.
North Carolina got beat on the boards.
Yeah, they did. And the reason I say that because the first time, and people are going to say, well, you going all the way back to Winston State. But yes, I am.
Yeah.
Because in the first half, State beat Auburn with threes. In the second half, I saw a different Auburn team that come back against State because you know what they done? Bruce Pearl changed his stuff and started pounding State in the middle.
And I'm gonna tell
How did Carolina beat State?
Terry,
pounding State in the middle.
Auburn was 5 of 25 at threes against NC State.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But what did he do? He changed
25.
it. He was down at halftime. He come out in the second half and he beat State to death.
All I have to say about the North Carolina Auburn game. This game was 100% on Roy Williams. Roy Williams got out-coached by Bruce Pearl. And the only reason I mean that, yes, Auburn hit 17 threes. Most teams are going to lose when a team hits 17 threes in a game. But you didn't change anything on your defense to try and stop them from hitting threes. They started hitting threes into the first half and in the second half. Every single player that was getting screened went under the screen.
Yeah, they went under the screen and dished.
And drove and dished. And they collapsed to double team on the driver every time. So it was basically shoot around for every Auburn player that was shooting threes. They were wide open threes. But what I hate the most, and as soon as you said that's not what beat them, I knew what you were going to say, was they got beat on the boards.
They did.
Garrison Brooks is probably the worst center power forward North Carolina has had in years. You know why? He's a sophomore and he hasn't toughened up at all. He's 6'10". He had 4 rebounds as a whole last night. Not offensive, not defense. Total.
That sounds like
right.
Well,
and Luke May only had 7. But Luke May is an undersized power forward. I've always said it. If someone's more athletic than he is, they'll dominate him.
I said this last week when we was in here, your sleeper them. I had other people ask me the same thing because they was doing some kind of bracket and you had to pick a sleeper. And I told everybody Auburn. They'd go, Auburn? And I said, I'm telling you that team's better than what they look.
I don't know if Garrison Brooks hears this. You disappointed me. Roy Williams disappointed me a little bit more than you did just because I didn't think he got anybody defensively ready to stop those threes because he never does. He never does. They never defend the three at all. But Garrison, if you're listening to me right now, that Baycott boy that's coming in next year who's like the 3rd best center in high school, if you don't step your game up as a junior, you will be benched for a freshman. If you don't you have been disappointing to me all season and your freshman season because you have not toughened up. And you know what? I think Sean May hurts them being their power forward, their bigs coach. I think Sean May doesn't really coach him up to be strong. He doesn't coach him up to get aggressive on the boards. That's how North Carolina beats everybody, is they beat someone on the boards. But I'll say this as well, and this is no excuse. Cam Johnson did not look like himself last night. They said he had a 100-degree fever the night before. Nasir Little had flu-like symptoms. He didn't play, obviously, as good as he did the first 2 games of the tournament, where he was averaging 19.5. Boys, if you're not feeling good, don't play. you're just going to be a hindrance. Now, Cam Johnson did score 15 points, but if you're not 100% and you can't give it all, I know this is a yes.
Why would you say that?
Why would I say that? Because I'm just saying if
because
they're not,
I saw
if they're
Michael
not
Jordan have the flu and score 40 something.
You're right.
Actually, the inside story on that is that he probably didn't have the flu, Terry, and what it was he was food poisoned by the pizza company in Utah. So Jordan, if you don't know, he had his own personal pizza. He stayed up till like 4 o'clock every morning, okay? He would have his own whole large personal pizza personally ordered, deliver it to him. Something happened that weekend where the pizza company he used or something, I don't remember the exact details, or something got mixed up into who was delivering pizza or whatever, and they think what it was a food poisoning on purpose from the pizza.
No, but even still, he's out there playing with food poisoning.
But that's just
that's just me. You know, if you can't
right, Terry's got to go in a second.
Yeah, it's the next man up.
For him before he goes.
It's the next man up thing.
All right, I joke with Terry all the time about how the ACC should kick NC State out. Terry, with North Carolina, State scored 24 points and they beat Auburn. Auburn beat North Carolina. Should Roy be fired? UNC has fake programs and classes, and they moved the Parade All-American National Player of the Year to linebacker, and they recruited the wrong Britt brother. Should they just shut the program down in Chapel Hill?
No, as long as y'all keep doing stuff like that, we want you to stay in.
It keeps people from wondering about how many millions y'all are paying your basketball players to lose.
That's right.
50. Golly. Oh, my goodness. It's just been fun time. I had to poke a few ribs. I'm a Tar Heels fan. Don't hate on me, but they've had some
all I know
dumb
is
stuff happen.
State's gone, Duke's gone. I mean, not Duke's gone, but Carolina's gone. So I guess all y'all Carolina fans pull for Duke from here on out.
Is that how it works? I've never understood that. Like, in any other sport, like, do Yankees fans pull for Red Sox after they get put out? Like why do ACC fans be like, well, I'm pulling for the ACC? I've never understood the allegiance to the conferences.
No, I don't have an allegiance.
Because, say, I'm a Tar Heel fan. So, let's say for 30 games a year, I pull against you. Now, all of a sudden, I'm out and I'm supposed to pull for you?
No.
I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not pulling for Redskins. If I'm a Browns fan, I'm not pulling for the Steelers after I get beat. I've never understood that whatsoever.
Let me see who all
But college people do
I'll be
that.
honest, at this point, I'm probably going to root for Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I am
pull for
probably too.
Auburn.
Yeah, I like Bruce Pearl. So
yeah, I like Bruce Pearl too. I think they did.
You're going to want him to beat Kentucky.
You're
going to want him to beat.
I think
Virginia
they did him
Brown.
wrong at Tennessee, so I like Bruce Pearl.
What if Virginia won the championship, Hunter?
No,
after losing last year.
No.
All right, a couple quick notes before we got to go. We're going to take a big break in a second, and I know Terry didn't want to get involved in this one, but so I'm going to shoot around with Hunter in a minute while we got a minute here. All right, so the scholarships do not cover postseason play.
I agree.
So basically, the players are playing for free.
Correct.
Is what they're doing now. So if people don't understand what I mean is, if you don't make the tournament, like NC State players didn't get like money back for their scholarships.
No.
North Carolina and Duke players aren't getting paid extra for playing in the tournament, but the coaches are. Coaches get bonuses for postseason play. They get their regular pay.
Yeah.
Then they get a shoe contract, and then they get bonus money. So basically, let me explain it to you folks what I mean by bonus money. If you win, they're playing for cash on the court. Last night, there was about $300,000 on the court last night between Auburn and North Carolina. If Auburn won, the coach for Auburn would get $100,000. If North Carolina won, the coach would get $200,000. What did the players get last night that won, Hunter? What did Auburn players get yesterday?
They're going to the Elite Eight.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Got some shampoo.
Yeah.
Some conditioner, some soap at the hotel. NCAA bragged about that online.
They did brag about that.
The one kid got a torn ACL for his services.
Yes, he did.
So should Bruce Pearl pay for his torn ACL?
They should pay for his surgery. That'd be real nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it? So basically, you understand what I'm saying, folks? If you get a bonus for your team winning, that's I mean, you're playing for money. You're legally gambling in front of the world right here.
Yeah.
And so Roy Williams had $200,000. Why do you think Roy was mad last night? He lost $200,000 for not winning that ball game.
Yeah.
And then we talk about we can't pay the players. We don't have enough money to pay the players. Well, $200,000 last night if Roy would have went. Now there's 15 players on the roster.
Because this isn't football roster.
So
this
last
is
night,
basketball roster.
the Tar Heel players could have won $13,000 a person if they had divided that up evenly. Now let's talk. Well, I mean, we could add the coaches to it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say $200,000 because the assistant coaches don't get bonuses on this. It's the head coaches. So they're doing this same thing to them too. So let's add them. So let's add 20. That's $10,000 a person on that bench. That's definitely what it's worth to somebody, to the University of North Carolina for that win. But only one person gets it, Hunter. Not the kid who tore the ACL, not the kid who scored 30, not the kid who went to practice all week, who will never play but still gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and works out. It goes to the one guy sitting over there, on the one that is on TV all the time. They've got to find some way to do something about that. Either the likeness and stuff. There's the NCAA. We don't have the video game anymore.
That's a shame. That's a shame. God, such a good game.
I do have the copy with our Armani Edwards on.
I got the last
the PlayStation 2
I made
copy
sure I
with
got the
Armani
last
Edwards
one that
on
had Denard Robinson on the front. 16 was when they stopped.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to talk. We got baseball to talk about. We got NFL, and we also we've got Wednesday Wednesday, Hunter. I went to Career Day.
Yes.
Cleveland County Schools Career Day at Shelby City Parks, and we talked to some kids.
Yes.
About what they wanted to be when they grew up. We got a little YouTube video to play. We're going to play a little bit of that. Since it's only me and Hunter still left at the table, we can waste a few minutes on that and play some of that. It's fun. It's entertaining. Some of the kids what they want to be when they grow up. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. JP on KTCBroadcasting.com.
It's the Spring Open House this Saturday, March 30th at West End Sales in Vail. I'm Calvin Hastings, and I want to invite you to join the boss as we broadcast live from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. during the Big Spring Open House event at West End Sales in Vail. There will be plenty of free food, including City Lunch and Dairy Queen hot dogs, ice cream and sweet treats, plus face painting for kids, and plenty of door prizes. Plus, register to win a free night's lodging at the Hampton Inn, free food certificates, free rounds of golf at Pine Mountain Golf Course, and some Boss t-shirts. And save big. Take 20% off Echo handheld equipment and take 10% off in-stock parts. And check out the full line of Coyote, Grasshopper, Cub Cadet, and Bobcat lawnmowers and tractors. So save the date and plan now to be there for the Big Spring Open House event this Saturday, March 30th, 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. at West End Sales, Highway 18 and 27 intersection in Vail.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincolnton will brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night.
It's the 26th Annual Lincoln County Rotary Auction for Education, Saturday, March 30th from 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. at Lincolnton High School, presented by Bosch. The preview will be at 4 p.m., the cafe will open at 5 p.m., and the auction starts at 6 p.m. There'll be many one-of-a-kind items, great food, and lots of fun. Proceeds will go to student loans for Lincoln County residents who attend college or a trade school. For more information, go to RotaryLink.com. The 26th Annual Lincoln County Rotary Auction for Education, Saturday, March 30th at Lincolnton High School. Plan now to be there.
Get free delivery to your home or office. Plus, get your Medicare billed, and they do immunizations. All at Moss Drug in Gastonia, your locally owned Health Mart Pharmacy. Ask about the double deal. Health Mart Loratadine and Allergy Relief 24-hour nasal spray, both for $17.99. Plus Vax Max Mucinex, just $10.99. Delsum 12-hour cough relief, just $9.49. All at Moss Drug, 701 West Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. Open 7 days a week.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, 0 money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
What's up, Doc? That crazy rabbit is back. It's the Bunny with the Money. Once again, the Bunny with the Money has $1,000 to give away to some lucky person. Register today with no obligation to buy at Annalise Boutique in downtown Cherryville, at Mi Pueblito Mexican Restaurant on West Warren Street in Shelby, at AccuTrol Income Tax Service on West Main Avenue, Gastonia, at West End Sales on Highway 18 in Vale, at Flooring America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain, at Backstreet Jewelers in downtown Newton, at Carolina Hardware on the Reedsville Road in Lincolnton, at Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell, at Shelby Vacuum Center on South Lafayette Street in Shelby, and at Ronaldo Buick GMC on Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby. The $1,000 will be given away Friday, April 19th at 8 a.m. live on The Boss in Carolina Country. Register to win. You could be the winner of the Bunny with the Money.
It's Texas.
Daniel Suarez is out of shape. He's spinning.
It's the My Bariatric Solutions 300.
Justin Allgaier really trying to push the point. He's going to try to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Almost comes together.
We have a car in the fence. It's Christopher Bell.
Ryan Reed now gets sideways and gathers it back up.
Here's Ryan Blaney. He takes the checkered flag.
The My Bariatric Solutions 300 from Texas. Saturday, March 30th at 12:30.
The My Bariatric Solutions 250, Saturday afternoon at 2:30 on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. They'll buy it back. Buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. What are we talking about? The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Whether you're trading or buying or selling, Renato Auto Mall will buy it back at $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book. Plus, it will be open Sunday from 12 noon till 5 p.m. for this special event. Don't miss it. Now is the time to buy. The Buy It Back sale now through Sunday, March 31st only at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right below the Cleveland Mall. Yes, septic tank problems just stink. Not only are the odors embarrassing, but ignoring the problem can ruin your yard and your plumbing. With over 40 years of experience, Dennis Willis Septic Tank Service in Cherryville knows how important it is for your home or business to have a septic tank service that responds quickly and effectively, preventing further damage and future repairs. Just call Dennis Willis Septic Tank Service, 704-435-2326, 704-435-2326, or visit the website at DennisWillisSeptic.com. When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville is there for you in your time of need. They're a progressive and comprehensive funeral service provider, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Funeral directors John Porter, Scott, and Hannah Garrett are there to help you and give you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. For more information, call 704-435-6711. Located at 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville and online at carpentersfuneralhome.net, a member of the National Funeral Directors Association.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk. Back to you guys in the studio.
Jay Pizzle, fo shizzle in the hizzle. Hey, what's up, JP?
God.
in the
thanks.
Yeah. Thanks,
Snoop Kevin.
Yes, thanks,
Snoop Kevin.
I grew up on the dog.
You grew up on the doggy dog, the D-O-double-G.
That's some good.
S-N.
I used to listen. I do have a. I did have the Chronic on the cassette tape.
You had the Chronic
on the cassette tape. I'm pretty sure I have it in a box somewhere around here.
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember that cassette tape in the collection.
This is a fun little tidbit here. So, many years ago, I guess my aunt was working at some place in uptown Charlotte, and this was before. Well, I don't know. No, don't go. Let's not go there. Anyway, she was working in uptown Charlotte, and she was going into the KISS 95.1 station, or it was one of the rap.
Sure.
It was one of the rap stations
Sure.
down there at the time. And when she was going in, this is a story she told me, and but she had it when I'm getting to in a second. She handed it to me. She was going into the elevator, and coming out was a young T.I.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, he was still known by as Tip, but that's his name. But he was trying to, of course, get his stage name T.I. out there, and he gave her a 3-song mixtape. And yes, on CD, 3-song mixtape that he had taken there to get his name out.
Right.
And I had that 3-song mixtape, but I do not know where it went now. It was just written on it, T.I. 3. That was it. 3 songs. That was it. And I lost it. That's a piece of history right there.
That's almost as bad as the Sandlot movie, the Babe Ruth.
Oh, he losing the Babe Ruth. I was like, man. I was listening to it in my aunt's car, and I don't know what I did with it. I truly don't, and it makes me mad to sit here and think about it, because I'll tell that story and people are like, "Oh, no way!" I'm like, "Dude, I had it. It was just one of those blank CDs where he just literally wrote his name on it." It's like,
JP, go down to my office and grab the baseball schedule off my cork board in my room next to my desk. We got high school baseball Tuesdays. We had some games this past week. Carson Dockery with a post-game show. Tune in on that after the games. He's giving you a recap of all the games. We're going to do regular season is going to be Tuesday nights the rest of the year with basketball. And then once the playoff starts, we'll be doing all those games in Lincoln County, Cherryville, and also Cleveland County. The Crest Chargers and Cherryville Ironmen off to some really hot starts here in the area. And we'll talk about some other local teams and other things in the area as we go. Last night was a beautiful night for baseball. Hope everybody got out to the parks if you could make it. If not, try to get out there and support the local baseball teams. I want to bring up a couple things I want to talk about here towards the end of the show. Today I've had free breakfast from Mitchem's Kitchen.
Right.
I'm going to get free lunch up at West End Sales with a hot dog from City Lunch. Yeah, and then this evening I'm going to a school fundraiser tonight where they're going to feed
free
me too.
Stuff all day.
So today is Kevin Eats for Free
school
day.
fundraiser, so they're going to want you to give something.
Yes.
Okay, so it ain't as free as you.
Well,
think.
I didn't personally pay for the fundraiser ticket,
Right,
so I technically am still eating for free on my end, but
on my end, I'm eating for free.
Saturday, I'm eating for free, so I have enough room to buy some ice cream today. Enough little extra cash to buy some ice cream today. So it might be a nice ice cream Saturday.
Is it that time of weather now? Is it not freezing cold outside anymore?
So baseball opening day this week, we've had Paul Goldschmidt last night hit 3 home runs for the Cardinals. So the Cardinals are 1-1 right now, and he's on pace, Hunter. Believe it or not, for 243 home runs this year.
Jeez.
Just letting you know. That's a good trade, isn't it?
Yeah.
After 2 games. After 2 games, he's still on pace for 243 home runs. So Cardinals going to be dangerous. I'm kind of excited about the lineup this year. It's been a while. Their offense the last 5 years has kind of been anemic. We don't know who's going to step up and hit. I say 5 years. I'll tell you exactly how long it's been. 7 years. That's how long Albert Pujols left. Left a big hole in the lineup, and it is a very reliable hole.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get a couple of hard hit balls tonight,
right.
And so they've been missing that, and I think Goldie and the gang's gonna put something on them. I was talking to Terry a little bit before, Hunter. Yadier Molina, this is his 15th straight opening day as a catcher for the Cardinals on the roster. Okay. That is the new Cardinals record.
Yes.
15 years and as a catcher. Isn't that amazing? So Yachty did that. Now let me give you another stat to kind of keep you in mind on how important Yachty has been to the Cardinals.
Right.
Since 2001, that's 19 years. And remember, he started the 15 straight. So 4 years prior, including 2. Only one of those 19 years did they have a losing season. 18 of the 19 years that there's been a 2 in front of the year the Cardinals have had a winning season. Yaudier's been there for 15. And I tell people, I make fun of everybody when they talk about the greatest this, the greatest that of all time. And you have to really, really start considering Yadier in that group. When you look at his defense, his hitting's not bad. His hitting's pretty good. I've compared it to the other old hitters, the Johnny Benches and the stuff, and he actually compares very, very closely to all of those. People don't think he can hit. He's been one of the most – him and Pujols are the 2 most clutch hitters I've seen the Cardinals have in forever. Like, those guys don't strike out in clutch situations. And that's really what I mean by clutch hitting, putting a ball in play, knocking a single down the line. You don't have to hit a double or a home run every time. But they come through, and it's just been amazing watching Yadier. I got my Cardinal shirt on today.
Right.
So watch some Molina. He ain't going to be out there too much longer. He's been 15 years.
Yeah.
I would imagine, Hunter.
Baseball, you can have a little bit of an extended career, though. You can have an extended career in baseball. Well, that's good that the Cardinals have been so successful because the Braves haven't for a couple years.
Okay. So, speaking of that, your Braves this year, they did well last year. They're moving on to this year.
Yeah, we did. Last year was a sign of hope, and then opening day against the Phillies happened, and I said, well, wait a minute.
It's just one game.
I know.
They play 162 of these guys.
We got 161 to go. We got one today at 4 o'clock against the Phillies again. So we lost to the Phillies 10-4, and we brought in Josh Donaldson. We kept Markakis. So we were hoping to get offense out of such an offensive-minded roster, and it just didn't happen. Didn't happen. And well, I can say this.
They got 4 runs. The pitcher was worth the dirt, and you'd won.
I know, right? I know, yeah. Tehran, and see, that's what me and
Kershaw take those 4 runs.
See, that's what me and Carson were really harping on why we were kind of upset with some of the moves that they had made this year is because we knew what the weakness was last year for the Braves. Not only was it youth, they're a young team. Obviously, they still have
kind of like
grow.
what I talk about the Cardinals last year. No big hitter.
No, we don't have really a big hitter except Acuna, and they got Acuna batting they had him batting in the 4 spot.
Where's Freeman back?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know that's what stuck out to me was they had Acuna at the 4.
Yeah, I did see that.
But just the pitching, and Tehran has struggled in his opening days. I think this is second or third time we've had him on the mound on opening day, and he's just gotten hammered.
Mm-hmm. Bryce Harper got booed in his first game in Philadelphia.
That's exactly what I was getting to. He got booed. I can say this: Atlanta helped Bryce Harper get booed in his first game as a Philadelphia Philly, and he went 0 for 3. He had two strikeouts and a walk. 0 for 3.
You can never count on Philadelphia.
That's your $330 million man right there.
Yeah, they booed you the first day.
Wait, what? It's 330 or 350? What did he get?
330.
330. That's what I thought. I was gonna say they didn't do the
biggest fraud in baseball history. Mike Trout got 430. That's
See, and that throws me off. Why didn't you just round it up to 450? Why didn't you just round it up to 350? If you want to give him that kind of money, what's saving you? $20 million.
It's 1.5 million extra a year.
Yeah,
you're giving away 35.
I mean,
who cares?
Come on now. Just make it easy for me. If someone asks me if someone asks me what he's getting paid, it's easier for me just to rattle off $450 million than maybe $423 million on the side. And
I think if you're the owner, you're like, I don't know if we can come up with another $1 million that year.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I got a couple billion in my pocket.
So I want to kind of convert over to some more fun stuff: high school baseball and coach pitch baseball.
Coach pitch.
Son playing coach pitch this year.
Has he driven the ball right back at the coach?
He's not big enough. He's one of the smaller kids on the team. 7 and 8 year olds. He's a 7-year-old. We got about 5 7-year-olds. He might be the best 7-year-old. There might be one other kid that might be better than him, but he's having trouble hitting the ball above his head and catching the ball above his head. We're working on his eyes on that part.
Hand coordination. That's all it is. Baby.
Now he's a dang little Hoover of the ball on the ground, little Hoover vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, above his eye line, I have a little trouble for that right now. I do want to mention he's on the Braves.
The Braves.
Terrible,
Braves.
terrible. Now, what's funny about that though?
Braves.
Was my coach pitch team when I was little, was 7 and 8 year old, was the Braves as well. So my son
Everybody
ends
loves
up
the
on
Braves
the
around
Braves
here.
team.
At the end of the day, this is still Braves country.
But I want to tell you, and that's exactly right, because I want to tell you this story about the
Yeah.
coaching staff of this team. Is it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Couple of things.
Mhm.
We're going to start with the Braves talk first.
Okay.
So the guy that's not the head coach, he's the official. The head coach is kind of like a figurehead type. He's the one that makes the phone calls and stuff. The other guy's the actual baseball guy, I guess.
Mhm.
So after practice, now this is 7 and 8 year olds, and he's got his Atlanta Braves hat on, just like you. Looks just like the hat you have on, the one Carson doesn't have.
The OG.
He gives a speech to my 7-year-old son in the gang about loving baseball, in which he referred to the Braves as "we" 5 to 7 times.
We.
He also went into how good of a person Markakis is, because he took less money to play with the Braves because he loves the Braves. that was, I mean, this is the speech, first practice, to my 7-year-old son.
Got a real winner on your hands.
He has no idea what's going on. Like,
No.
I don't know what a Brave is. I don't know what a Markakis is.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he likes playing baseball. He just, this guy's talking to him about the Braves.
I was just say you can't get too analytical with 7 and 8 year olds. At the end of the day, they're just like, I want to hit. I want to hit. Let's do BP. I want to hit.
So that guy wasn't at practice yesterday
Mhm.
or the day before, and then he was.
Yeah.
So the other guy, the figurehead, had to do a lot of the baseball stuff that he,
Mhm.
I guess, normally doesn't do.
Yeah.
So he's pitching, and I don't know which one of those guys between them came up with the bright idea, Hunter, to go catch too. So we were playing 6-on-6, and instead of just letting the ball go by, just picking up and throwing it back to him, they decided to put the mask on and got in behind there about to catch. So but he didn't have a chest protector, or leg guards, or a cup. He's just back there.
He was just freebirding it.
With the helmet on, he was going to protect his face.
Yeah.
I don't know how many balls just hit him because he actually can't catch that well.
Oh.
So he was just
imagine.
getting beat in the shins and the knees and the hips.
I
with
bet
the
you he
ball.
got home and said, I am never doing this again.
He told one of the other coaches, "This ain't that fun." And I almost wanted to walk out there and be like, "Look, y'all, let me tell you how to do this a better way.
Right.
This is not it." But oh my goodness, I had a really good laugh at a lot of that, and hopefully he'll be okay and he'll get that settled. the other coach, there's another
Ice yourself.
One of the other coaches I call Super Dad. You would know what I mean if you if
yeah,
you say
probably.
that. So, he actually threw the ball well, but they rotated back and forth.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was hilarious. That he got back there and got beat up for a minute. I'm like, he didn't think that one through at all. And but anyway, that's the Braves. We got a speech about Markakis. So it was a fun day of coach pitch this week.
And see, what's so funny is like there was that one time like I wanted to go and coach Little League just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what? I don't think I'd know how to react if a kid that's like 8 years old messed up, because I couldn't chew him out like I could a high schooler or a middle schooler. I'd have to take it nice and, that's okay, buddy, let's try again. Instead of, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd get a couple, stink eyes from the parents. And some people might tell me it'd be better if I stepped down.
Oh, maybe. All right, folks, Wednesday I went to Career Day at Shelby at Cleveland County Middle School Career Day for 5th graders. And we interviewed some of the 5th graders and talked to them. We're going to play a little bit of that, some cuts. So what I'm playing is a video on YouTube. Go to KTC Broadcasting YouTube, and you can watch the video of the kids. And what we did, Hunter, we gave them an iPad.
Yeah.
Now I've got the actual interviews. We're going to put a big long. It'll be probably 2 or 3 hour video out of all the interviews of all the questions we did and all the talking.
Right.
But I put a highlight preview video out. So during that, what we did before they started, we gave them an iPad, and they recorded themselves saying what they wanted to be when they grew up. So this is what we're going to hear, folks, is 5th graders telling you what they wanted to be when they grew up. So we're going to play a little bit of that. JP, make sure I'm potted up in there on the production computer. We good on that? Okie doke. So I'm going to unmute that, and then we're going to play a little bit from the 5th graders. Just listen along, have a little fun. Some fun kids, cool kids. It was a good time.
Yeah.
We're live right now, KTCBroadcasting.com, YouTube. Look at the camera. Hey. Okay. Say your name. What you want to be when you grow up?
My name is Taylor, and I want to be a My name is Elise, and I want to be a
Hey, we're in the news. Hey, Mom.
All right, Elise, let's try that again.
actress, model, and dance.
Okay. Elise.
My name is McCall Bryan, and when I grow up, I want to be a middle linebacker for the NFL. I want to be an NBA player. Shaving pool, and I want to be a football player. I want to be an NFL wide receiver, and if that doesn't work, I want to be an entrepreneur. Then I want to be a football player.
I want to be a football
And Braden Beatty, I want to be a vet or at least a sports player or play golf.
That kid said it 5 different things. He wanted to be everything. That's what I put. So on the video, if you can't hear them, folks, in the video, I put their what they were saying on the video, what they wanted to be, so you can kind of follow along. The music you're hearing between, when the kids would go outside on their way to the buses, they got to play in the EMSs and trucks and stuff, and they would play it in our large.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Cole? A police officer.
My name's Rebecca, and I want to be a military man. A military My name is Kaylin, and I want to be either a softball star or a veterinarian. I'm Emma, and I want to be a person who helps endangered reptiles.
That girl is really cool. She wanted to help endangered reptiles.
Yeah.
So like, she wanted to have basically like an alligator or snake farm there at her
Yeah.
house or something like that. But she was a really cool girl. She and they had the Crest Agriculture Department was there with 2 goats and a guinea pig.
Huh.
I'm Sebastian, and I want to be a professional soccer player. I'm engaged, and I want to
Build robots. That's smart,
He
kid.
wanted to build robots.
I'm Caleb, and I want to be a rapper when I grow up.
Kid want to be a rapper. Hey, and what was cool about that? Get this, Hunter. So it's career day, right?
Yeah.
Our cameraman.
Yeah.
Was Juan G, our Friday Night Lights rapper.
Right.
So that kid that wanted to be a rapper, folks, actually got to talk to someone who writes songs and does rap. He's got rap songs. So he actually got to talk to someone with KTC at there about being a rapper and what things he could do and stuff. So it's pretty neat for him too. He was a game designer.
A game designer? What kind of game?
And of course that's us partying outside. This kid was really cool. He wanted to be a lab technician.
My name is Connor. When I grow up, I want to work in the lab. I want to be a singer. I want to be a professional basketball player. Callie. I want to be a nurse. My name's Kenneth, and I want to be a nurse. My name is Jeremiah, and I want to fight for our country in the army. My name is Thomas, and I want to be a police.
That kid liked looking at himself in the eye.
My
He
name
was
is
having fun.
Conrad, and I want to be a game creator. My name's Landon, and I want to be an auto parts delivery. My name is Braden.
All right, so that last kid said he wanted to be an auto parts delivery man. And I was wondering where he got that from. I was like, so why do you want to be an auto parts delivery man? And he said that's what his dad does. So there was a couple of kids in the audience that did want to do what their dads did. We had an electrician coming up as well.
Nice.
But yeah, he said his dad delivers auto parts and he thinks it's the coolest job. So that's what he wanted to do.
A lawyer, whenever I grow up. My name is Eric, and I want to be
Olivia is with me today. Now, Olivia, do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
So Olivia Hunter was a little nervous. She wanted to be an astrologist, but you know what she wanted to do more than anything?
What?
She wanted to know if she could give a shout out to Pootie Pie.
Oh God, the YouTuber.
She asked me 5 times if she could do that.
Yeah.
And then I was holding the mic talking to another kid, and she kept leaning into the mic, and I know I've got it on I've got it on the big camera. She kept saying, "Hey, Pootie Pie." She just kept doing that over and over, and I was like, oh my gosh. I never knew so many 5th graders had Instagram accounts. They were shouting out Instagrams and all kinds of things like that. I was like, my goodness.
NBA basketball player. I want to be a soccer player.
He wanted to be, so that one kid wanted to be a soccer player.
And when he retired,
Then he retired.
wants to
He
be a
wanted to be a
chef.
chef.
Huh.
So he wanted to make his millions, build him some restaurants, and then cook for people.
Nice.
Now there's another kid that wanted to be like his dad.
Christian. Now, why do you want to be an electrician? Your dad.
He talked to me a little bit about his dad taking him to work and stuff.
And then I want to be
This
a
cool- this-
basketball player or a football player or
Listen.
name them things. I want to be a basketball player, football player, or a doctor.
Look, he just rolled his eyes at me when I said tennis. He couldn't think of what he wanted to do. He just
My
named
name
the
is
sport.
Braxton, and I want to be an MLB player when I grow up. A cop.
This girl was fun.
Police, you gonna arrest people? Throw them in jail?
My name's Kate.
She named her friend standing right there. Sophia was wearing an NC State shirt. She
Yeah.
was trying to hide from the camera. I asked her if she was hiding because of the shirt. She said no, but she actually got on camera and talked as well. But
Right.
Those girls were fun. They were talking about they was going to arrest each other. She said the girl in the State shirt drove in her, climbed in her window one time. So she's going to arrest her for breaking in.
NFL football player. NFL football player.
What do you want to be when you grow up? A doctor.
I'm a basketball player. My name is Destiny, and I want to be a photographer.
There you go.
What are you gonna be when you grow up?
Police officer. I don't know what I want to do. I want to be rich.
He said, I don't want to be. I want to be rich. This kid wanted to be a YouTube streamer, so I let him interview some people.
Yeah.
And that other kid that just talked, he wanted to be a truck driver for Deadman, like his dad. Exactly
I
like
want to be a barber or an architect. My name is Taquan, and I want to be an NFL player. My name is Ryder, and I don't know.
At least he's honest.
I want to be a traveler. I'm ready something. I want to be.
Hunter, this is probably my favorite thing to do of the year. I don't get
Career
paid
day.
extra for it or anything.
Yeah.
You just sit there and talk to these kids, and they say some of the funnest, coolest things.
My name is Anna Ricks, and I want to be a football player. My name is Malik, and I want to be a
Football player.
a singer. I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be in the NFL. I want to be a wide receiver. If they don't work, I want to be in muscle.
All right, I'm going to go down here to these last girls. They just cracked me up. These girls were funny.
Nazaria Poole.
Alright, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A lawyer. Basketball player.
Right here.
A police officer when I grow up.
A police officer. You want to throw people in jail? Are you gonna throw your friend? Are y'all friends?
Yeah.
Would you throw her in jail? You would?
If she hurts somebody, yeah.
Hurt somebody else?
Excuse me? I can sue you.
So you want to be a lawyer?
No, I'm going to be an actress, and a famous actress, then get her fired. Hi, Mom.
And you
Hi, Mom.
want to be a
Why
famous
is it
actress that gets
Hi,
the
Mom.
police
Hi, Dad.
So that was the day we had out there at
I
career
saw a lot of kids wanting to be professional athletes, and obviously that's what we talk about on this show. And
Yep.
you know, as a kid, I wanted to be. It's not. That's a dream for a lot of kids.
Right.
A lot of them, they say the generic things. They want to be a doctor. They want to be a policeman. They want to be a fireman, or they want to be a sports player. And you know, all I gotta say is I'm never gonna say no to any kid's dream. But kids, if you're listening, you work hard. Work hard, get out there every day, practice for a couple hours. That's something that I didn't do, and I probably should have done. And that's a lot of people that had the talent to go and play at the next level. It's easy to say you want to be a professional athlete. It's hard to even get
Commit
to play.
yourself to
It's
work
hard
out.
to commit to, and it's hard to commit yourself to even be able to play in college.
You know, they did a lot of them, and I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing the teachers made sure that they told them that you need to have something else. So a
Yeah.
lot of them did tell me.
Yeah.
On the sports ones, I would do this, but I would
Yeah.
do this. So you heard that one kid say, "I want to play soccer," then a chef. So
Yeah.
they actually they have been doing that. What I was also doing, anyone that said the sports thing.
Yeah.
Two things I would do. I would talk to them about broadcasting sports because that's what we do. You know,
Mhm.
hey guys, have you ever thought about doing this?
Yeah.
You know,
You can still be involved in
Tony
sports.
Romo is asking for $10 million to do next year's
I know,
broadcast.
I saw that.
So
Did you see he was playing in a little golf tournament?
Yeah,
this
you can
weekend?
make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Doing that. Also, I sent them over to the Gardner Webb booth, the football booth, because how many jobs are in sports
that they don't know
other
of,
than
just being an
just
athlete.
playing football.
You can go and be a
coaches,
coach.
trainers,
That's
all that
exactly
stuff.
right. There's a lot of ways.
Right.
So parents listening, older siblings that got younger siblings that dream, or you got children that dream about being these professional athletes. What you have to remember is it's less than 1% that become a professional athlete,
Right.
And it's not to say that they can't go for it, but open their eyes that there are other things that they can do in sports, whether it's sports media, sports medicine. They have, you can be a coach, you can teach kids. So there's a lot of things they can do. Never say a child can't do it.
Bill
but
Belichick
just
didn't
remind
play
them.
in the NFL, did he?
Yeah, Bill Belichick didn't play in the NFL. He was a coach.
All right, guys. Tuesday baseball is coming up the next week. April 2nd, Bunker Hill at Lincolnton, Cherryville at Thomas Jefferson, Stuart Kramer at Crest. Following that, Shelby at East Rutherford, East Lincoln at Lincoln, Lincoln Charter at Cherryville, Bessemer City at Cherryville on the 16th, Maiden at North Lincoln, and no Cleveland County game on the 16th. All right, JP, you can play us away. It's time to go to West End Sales.
No, sorry, I accidentally hit a key.
Hey, that's fine. Let's see. I'll go ahead and do it. You can play us up in the West End Sales this afternoon, or we're going to be up there until 1 o'clock. Calvin and the gang is up there. We'll see you next Saturday. Hunter Yancey, Tom wasn't here today. Terry Reinhardt got the T in me. Carson Banana was here today. We'll see you guys next week on KTC Broadcasting.
You do what you do when you want to be me instead of you. Cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with my co-host Jake Owen, who's about to make his debut on the big screen.
There's been multiple times